Hey guys, welcome back. So we're gonna just pick up where we left off, and we're gonna go ahead and finish filling in Oogie Boogie. So this is really interesting to see it going in quick speed, because I get to watch it from the absolute beginning where I have a blank canvas and I turn it into something outstanding. This is always really fun for me. And a lot of times I do have a tendency to sit back and admire my work when I get really proud of it, and I have to kind of force myself to continue on. So if you see me pause for any reason, that might be why. Maybe sitting back and admiring my own work. And so with Oogie, I do have a plan to make him glow in the dark with a glow in the dark wash paint over top. If you are choosing to do a glow in the dark paint for Oogie, you can also purchase bright green glow in the dark paint. I don't like to use the colored glow in the dark paint for a couple different reasons. First off, if you use the colored glow in the dark paint and you go in and you try and color any sections or cover any sections up or have to clean up any lines, it will just not look quite right. It just kind of shows up underneath a black haze, and it's not quite what I want. So, and besides, I have clear glow in the dark paint at my convenience. And so what I'm also doing is I'm thinking about how I'm going to incorporate some more color onto the shoe. I don't know if you guys have followed it on Instagram, but I actually did end up doing a halo around Oogie, or the sides of the shoe. I really like doing halos around my main focus object because I think it makes a little something extra. And by doing a halo, you can really bring in the focus, and you don't have to worry too much about it looking kind of like an oddly placed image, or kind of interesting looking that the shoe has no continuation. I think it kind of brings it all together and flows through. And this is my most recent work, and I'm very, very proud of it. This is something that you get better with as time goes on, and I'm definitely proud of it. And I hope that you guys choose to do this look as well. And if you do, drop me a comment or send me a picture so I can see all you guys' great work, because I'd love to see it. So I'm just going in and closing the gap, as I call it, which is where I remove the white edge around the image itself to make it look completed. And I am painting the dice. So what I haven't decided completely yet at this point is if I'm going to go in with a felt tip marker at the end. If you are going to go in with a felt tip marker, do not use a fabric marker. You're going to have to be using something like a fine tip Sharpie or a ballpoint pen tip. They just give a little bit better, sharper, clean lines. So here I've decided what I'm going to be doing for my halo, which is my typical halo blend, which is going to be a red and a gold wash, kind of giving a smoky look. And you just kind of blend it out. And the issue with doing this with dry painted shoes, which the black is currently dry on the shoes, it doesn't spread as nicely. So that is a little bit annoying. And you can see Bella in the background as he has decided to join me yet again for watching the shoes paint. And now I'm going over to Jack as I've completed smoking out my red and gold halo, and I'm trying to bring my lines in a little bit closer to Jack as I've kind of really given him a large halo, and I'm doing my side work design, as you can see here, which is the black and white stripes. These stripes are very random, unconcised pinstripes. Some people have actually suggested, why don't you use a marker for this? If you look at Jack Skellington's original figure and body, his lines are not perfectly straight or clean. They are kind of all over the place. They vary in thickness. They're a little bit streaky, so that's why I do this with paint. And I'm actually using a really good brush for this. It is a rather dirty, improperly handled pencil brush that I'm using for this. If you are doing anything where you're going to be needing a very stiff rigidness of your paintbrush, I recommend using a. And now we're going on to the side piece for Oogie Boogie, which is his bugs. I don't know how well you can see his bug design on this shoe from the lighting and the angle that I'm holding it, but I've actually gone through and I drew these on, and of course, since these are bugs, they do have very small, very thin legs, and at this point I have quite a few decisions to make. Am I going to make these legs in the original coloring of them, which for most of them was a black or a dark green, like Oogie's eyes. And instead of doing this black, because I have black background, I end up taking some liberties and continuing the color of the bug's body into the legs to really give it that colorful vibe, rather true to Oogie's bugs, as I feel. And now we're going to come on the other side and complete it to make it match and make sure I don't have any missed spots anywhere that I'm going to fill in very quickly. Now the issue with this is, as you might be able to tell, the inner seam work on the KED does have some white rimming that I can't quite fill in with the black paint because it's going to affect the way the bugs get filled in. So I'm actually going to go in later with a Sharpie and clean this up, or try and paint it with some black paint. I just don't want to paint it with black paint while I'm trying to color it, so that way I don't get too confused. And this is something that I really think is going to be really special about it, is having the continuation of his bugs through the entirety of the shoe. It really makes it his kind of reminiscent of his character. And now I'm going to continue doing the color blocking by going in and doing the color blocking around the dice on the back of the shoe. I'm actually really rather unhappy with the dice on the shoe. I think I should have continued on with bugs, but that's for next time. I've already painted and sealed these shoes at this point. I don't think I'm going to go back and make any further alterations. And while these shoes are rather wet, I do go back and forth between the two shoes. I try and color block, or if I get a little too dizzy or too frustrated with a certain part of the shoe, then I move on to another part of the shoe. So that way I'm not forced to work on it over and over. As you can see, I've switched back to Jack Skellington, and I'm doing the color blocking on the back of his shoe. But as you can see, lots of his shoe is still in progress, so I really do jump around from spot to spot. As I said, as parts of the shoe dry, I like to move to different sections, different areas, to really think about and incorporate the design as best I can, which I think is important. You know, if you're working on something that has very finite details or something that you're very, very proud of, you will have to take breaks from time to time to ensure there's no sloppiness, or sometimes you have to give your paintbrush a little break. And that's it for this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. Dirty brush.